Welcome to Baileyyyoga, where we connect with our breath, connect with our movement, to connect with the moment. See you on your mat. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be working on our inversions, so hopefully you've been following along and have done the other previous classes for this yoga challenge to help you prepare for this class. So what an inversion actually is any pose that our heart is above our heads. So any pose that you're upside down in. So downward facing dog is an inversion, puppy pose is an inversion, dolphin pose, and then of course headstand and handstand. So we're going to be going through a little flow today, and I'll be adding in some inversions throughout the class. We will be working our way into headstand today. So if you cannot do a headstand yet, no worries. I'm going to be leading you how to get into one safely, and maybe you may surprise yourself and lift up your feet. So to start, we're going to make our way down onto our backs. And just bring your feet out to the edges of your mat and just knock your knees to touch, and just let your upper body rest. Just let your arms rest down beside your body. Just taking a moment to connect with yourself here. Bringing your awareness into your physical body. Notice the points that are touching the ground. And then noticing how you're feeling today. Maybe bringing one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. Start to deepen our breath together. Take a deep inhale through the nose, filling up the belly. Breathing further air into the chest. And then exhale, letting everything go. Maybe sighing it out. Take another deep inhale through the nose, fill up the belly. Breathe further air into the chest. And then exhale to release. Taking one more mindful breath, smooth and steady, filling up the belly first. Breathing further air into the chest. And then exhale, letting everything go. Just bringing your hands back down to the ground, bringing your knees into your chest and giving yourself a little squeeze, maybe rocking from side to side. And then sending the left leg down to the ground, send the right leg up towards the sky, and then grab anywhere behind your leg, pulling that thigh in towards your chest. Straightening out through the leg, maybe find some movement in the ankle and the feet and the toes, just stretching it out. Lengthening through our hamstrings. And then from here, bring your knee back in towards your chest, and then grabbing the outer edge of your foot with your left hand, pulling that foot in towards your chest. So letting the knee drop open a little bit, hugging that leg in towards your chest, opening up through our right hip. And then releasing that leg, sending it down to the ground. Left leg reaches up high towards the sky, grabbing anywhere behind that leg. Maybe finding some movement in the leg, in the foot, the ankle. Hugging that leg in towards your chest. Lengthening through those toes. Upper body is nice and relaxed. Breathing into your hamstring. And then bring that heel down towards your glute, knee into chest. Reach around to grab the outer edge of that foot, and then pulling that foot towards your chest, letting that knee drop out wide. Breathing into your left hip. And then sending that leg down to the ground. Inhale to lift both of your legs up towards the ceiling, rolling out through the ankles, lengthening through our hamstrings here. Try to straighten your legs the best you can, aligning our heels right over our hips. From here, lifting the hips, sending the legs behind our head for our first inversion, for Plow Pose. So maybe feet are hovering above the ground. You can place a blocker pillow underneath the feet to bring the ground a little closer. Bring your hands up on your low back just to protect your back. So notice how your heart is above your head here. Your hips are nice and high. Reversing the circulation of our blood in our bodies. Having a nice calming effect on our mind. And then maybe you want to bend your knees a little bit. Maybe straightening one leg and then the other. Just finding whatever movement feels good here. Keep your neck nice and lengthened. And then taking one more breath here. And then slowly rolling yourself back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Nice and slow. And then slowly lowering the legs all the way down to the ground. Taking an inhale, lifting up through your chest. Reach those fingers nice and high. Stacking the shoulders right above your hips. Fingertips reaching high. On your exhale, forward fold, hinging from the hips. Folding forward over those extended legs. So just breathing into the hamstrings here, relaxing the shoulders down away from the ears. Knees can be slightly bent here. Option to place a blocker pillow underneath the knees or maybe underneath the hips. Or for a more advanced variation, you can place the block under your feet, reaching down for that block. Just tapping into your breath here. Relaxing to open up all your hamstrings, your back body. And then slowly rolling up through center, crossing at the ankles, bringing your hands in front of you, making your way into a tabletop position. Spread the fingers nice and wide, ground the shoulders right over the wrists. So look down, make sure you can see your alignment. Hips stacked right over knees, and then bring that head back into a neutral position. Feel the crown of the head reaching forward, tailbone reaching behind you. Belly is drawn in towards navel. Feel the energy in your midline. On your inhale, drop your belly, lift up through your chest. Exhale around through your spine, chin comes to chest. Inhale, belly drops, chest lifts. Exhale, round through your spine. Inhale one more time, lift up through that chest. Exhale, round through your spine, shoulder blades draw apart. And then coming back through center. Send those right toes behind you, come to the ball of that foot, and then press into that heel. Lengthen through the crown of your head all the way down to your heel, stretching out the back side of that right leg. And then coming back through center, lift that right leg off the ground. Taking an inhale, lift it even higher, lift up through the chest. Exhale around through the spine, knee comes in towards nose. Inhale to lift the leg, lift the chest. Exhale, hug it in. Inhale to lift. Exhale, round through the spine. Step the foot through your hands, finding your low lunge. From here, tuck the toes. Left hand plants, right arm reaches high, stacking through those shoulders. Exhale, hands plant. Left foot steps up to meet the right, find your forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hand, left foot steps to the back of the mat, dropping that back knee. Inhale, lift up for low lunge. Exhale, straighten the front leg back for half split. Walk the hands back. And then you're just gonna lift up this knee towards your chest, send the right leg to the back, and then bring it back into your tabletop position. Take a second to shake it out. And then finding your neutral tabletop again. Send those left toes behind you. Press into that heel. Lengthen through the back of that left leg. And coming back through center, lift up through that leg. Inhale to lift up the chest and the leg. Exhale, hug a knee to nose. Inhale to lift. Exhale, round the spine, knee to nose. Inhale to lift. Exhale, hug that knee in towards your nose. And then step the foot through the legs, tuck the back toes, lift up the knee. Right hand plants. Inhale, left arm reaches high. Exhale, frame the front foot, step to a forward fold. Letting everything go here. On your inhale, come into a halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, right toes, step to the back of the mat, dropping that back knee. Inhale, lift up for low lunge. Exhale, shift the hips back for half split. And then walk the fingers back up, planting your hands, lift the left knee into your chest, reach the left toes back, and then bring it down for your tabletop position. Shake it out just a little bit. And then from here, tuck your toes, lift your hips into downward facing dog. Beautiful. Another inversion. Heart is above our head. Hips are high. Checking our alignment here. Fingers are spread nice and wide. Upper arms externally rotated. Shoulders are in their sockets. Heels reaching down to the ground. Hips are nice and high. On your inhale, right leg reaches to the sky. Exhale, hug the knee into your chest. Step the foot through. Seal that back foot. Inhale up for warrior one. Hips are squared, fingers reaching nice and high. Shoulders relaxed. Exhale, open up for two. Inhale, flip the front palm, reverse the warrior, lift up and out of the hip. Exhale, windmill the hands down, frame the front foot, step back, flow through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts high, reach through those toes. Exhale, hug the knee into your chest, step the foot through, seal that back foot, heel comes down to the ground. Inhale, lift up into warrior one. Hips and shoulders square to the front of the mat. Inhale here. Exhale, opening up for warrior two. Sink nice and low. Flip the front palm, reverse the warrior, lift up and out of that hip. Exhale, hands windmill down. Step back, flow through chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. From here, lowering the knees back down to the ground, finding your tabletop position. And then from here, we're just gonna continue walking our hands out in front of us, letting our chest melt down towards the ground for our puppy pose. Keeping the hips nice and high. Beautiful. Just resting here. Actively reaching the fingers to the top of the mat. Opening up through our chest and our shoulders. And slowly draw yourself all the way down to the ground. Keep those elbows on the ground right underneath your shoulders. Forearms planted into the ground for Sphinx Pose. So lifting up through your chest, pulling that ground towards your body with those forearms. Lifting up through the chest, head is in line with the spine. Taking a breath here, maybe finding some movement in the neck. Making some gentle circles. And lowering yourself all the way down. Bring those hands underneath your shoulders. Hug the elbows in. Inhale to press up to cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg lifts high. Exhale to roll open that hip. Heel comes towards glute. Right knee reaches high. Exhale to hug that knee in towards your chest as you step the foot through. Seal the foot. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, open up, warrior two. Inhale, reverse the palm, flip your warrior, reaching up and out of that hip. Exhale, right hand comes down to the ground, or maybe bring that right arm to your forearm. Left hand reaches high for side angle. Option to use a block here, bringing the ground closer, stacking the shoulders and the hips. Left fingertips reaching nice and high, opening up through the chest. Maybe testing your balance with that bottom arm, lifting it, using your leg and your core strength here. And then exhale brings you all the way up into a standing position. Straighten out through the legs and then turn those toes to face inward, making your feet parallel to each other for a wide-legged stance. Bring your hands down to your hips. Taking an inhale, draw the elbows together, lifting up through your chest. On your exhale, hinging from your hips, chest comes down for a forward fold. And then releasing your hands down to the ground. Let your head be heavy. Finding your forward fold. So weight is in the front of your feet here. Beautiful. So this is a nice place to come up into a tripod headstand. So if you would like to try, you can go ahead and do so. If not, just hang out here and wide-legged forward fold. This is still an inversion without even going upside down. So for the inversion, you just want to shift your weight further into the front of your feet so that your crown of your head reaches the ground. Maybe you need to open up your legs a little bit wider so that the crown of your head reaches the ground. Planting your hands right underneath your shoulders and then bending at the elbows like you would in a chaturanga position. So once the crown of the head reaches, you can shift your weight even more forward, maybe lifting the heels off the ground, trying to bring your hips up over your head. So once you feel this position, try shifting the weight, maybe lifting one toe off the ground, maybe lifting the other, really hugging everything into your midline. Keep those elbows hugged in toward the side body, and then really start to engage your core. So maybe you lift one leg, bringing the knee into your chest, maybe lifting the other leg. Just playing around here, testing your balance, testing your strength, remembering to gaze at one point to keep your focus. If you'd like to play around with the legs, you can go ahead and do so. Beautiful. Remembering to breathe when you're upside down. And then to come out of this, just slowly lower your feet back down to the ground. And then lifting up your head, walking out your hands, finding your halfway lift. And then bring those hands to your hips, use your core, come all the way up out of this pose. And then heel toe your feet back underneath your hips a little bit. And then find your way back down to the ground, framing that front foot wherever you were. And then stepping back for a chaturanga, flowing through. Inhaling for upward facing dog or cobra. Exhaling for downward facing dog. Let's take a few breaths here. And then on your next inhale, lifting up through the left leg. Exhale, bring the left knee into your chest. Step the foot through, sealing your back foot. Inhale up for warrior one. Exhale, open up for two. Flip the front palm. Inhale to reverse the warrior, gazing up towards the sky, opening up the chest. Exhale, bring that left hand down to the ground or that left elbow to your left knee, opening up for side ankle. Right fingertips reaching high, opening up through the chest, stack those shoulders. Breathing here. And then using your strength, pulling yourself all the way up to standing. Toes face back in toward one another for another wide-legged stance. This time, bringing your hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Inhale to press those hands down away from you, lifting up through the chest. Exhale, forward fold. Draw those arms over your head. Maybe you'd like to find some
movement here, bending into one knee and then the other. Breathing. And then you can release your hands, bring them down to the ground. And then either stay in this forward fold or maybe try to lift up into another tripod headstand. If you're going to headstand, again, remember squeezing everything into that midline. Shifting your hips over your head. And then just start to try lifting one leg and then maybe the other. And just remembering to breathe, keeping your focus on one point. Finding that strength from within. Let's take one more breath here. And then slowly make your way back down to the ground. Maybe have some pillows nearby in case you fall. Good thing I'm on a rug. And then walking your hands out in front of you, lifting to a halfway lift. And then turning to face that front foot, framing that foot, stepping back for chaturanga, lowering down. Inhale for upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Just lowering the knees to the ground, send your hips to your heels for child's pose. Just take a few breaths here. Lifting up our hips, planting through the hands, tuck the toes, send the hips back for downward facing dog. Bending at the knees, gaze to the top of your mat, step for a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, plant your feet, rise all the way up to standing. Exhale, hands through heart center. Let the hands come down by your side, taking an inhale, reach your arms high. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale into halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step back, high plank, lower chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. From here, just lower your knees down to the ground, keeping the toes tucked, walk your hands back, and then bring your hips to sit on those heels. Just stretching out through the feet for a moment, reaching the crown of the head high. We're gonna come into another headstand pose, but just a different variation. So you may find this one easier or the other one easier. It really just depends on what makes you feel comfortable. So I'm gonna give you guys this other option to play around with another headstand. So from here, you're gonna bring your forearms down to the ground. And then using your hands, you're gonna reach to grab your elbows to just check the distance between your elbows. So you just wanna be able to grab your elbows like so. And then you can bring your hip palms back down to the ground. And then I like to interlace my fingers here. And then I just tuck this pinky, this bottom pinky in so that it's a nice flat base for my hands. And then I keep you keep your elbows right underneath your shoulders the whole time. And then from here, I bring the crown of my head down to the ground. So I'm still pressing into those elbows. Just the crown of the head is slightly touching the ground. Not too much weight in my head. Most of the weight in my elbows. From here, tucking your toes, lifting your hips up. So kind of like a dolphin pose here. And from here, you can start to walk your feet in towards your elbows, keeping your hips nice and lifted. Keep on energetically hugging those elbows in toward one another, squeezing up through the midline. So all the energy is pulling in and up. So keep on walking those toes in, and then maybe you want to lift one leg, testing your balance. Maybe you want to try lifting one knee up, bending one knee into your chest. And then you can just play around here and maybe trying to lift your weight, taking a few bounces with control, pressing into those forearms, and then maybe lifting yourself up into headstand. Keep on pulling everything into your midline, Reaching up through those toes, active legs here. Breathing. And then gently come out of it, lifting your head up off the ground, sitting on those heels, taking a moment, letting the blood rush back into your body. So if you're working your way up to a headstand, you can play around with both variations and see what works best for your body. So now we're going to make our way to our backs. Bring your hands out in front of you, crossing at the ankles, and then sending your legs out in front of you. Sitting in a nice tall seated position, spine lengthened. Taking a deep inhale, reach your arms high. On your exhale, fold forward over your legs. Inhale brings you back up to seated. Reach your arms high. Exhale, lower down with control. Inhale, legs lift high. Exhale, lift up your hips, send legs behind you for Plow Pose. Another inversion. This time, everybody bring your hands to your lower back. We're gonna make our way into shoulder stand. So you can begin to lift one leg and then lifting the other. Keep on reaching the feet high. Try to stack your shoulders try to stack your hips over your shoulders. Pressing those feet up to the sky, hugging everything into your midline. And then maybe you want to play around with your legs up here. Keep on lifting the hips nice and high. Breathing. Taking just one more breath here. And then slowly lowering yourself down vertebrae by vertebrae with control. Lowering down. And then bringing those knees into your chest, giving yourself a hug. Great work, everybody. Send both of the legs up towards the ceiling. You're gonna take your right leg and wrap it around your left, hugging at the thighs, maybe wrapping that right ankle underneath the calf if it reaches. And then from here, you're just gonna drop both of your legs over to the left side, opening up the right arm, gazing to those right fingertips for a supine twist. Both shoulders on the ground, relaxing yourself into this pose. And bringing the knees back in through center, uncross the legs, send the legs high. And then the left leg wraps around the right, maybe hook that ankle. And then hug the knees in towards your chest, then drop them over to the right side, gazing over to those left fingers. And just returning back to your breath. And then slowly bringing the knees back into the center, uncross your legs, send the legs high, stretching out through the feet and the ankles. And then giving yourself a nice big hug, maybe lifting the neck, head, and shoulders to wrap everything up into one little ball. Squeezing everything nice and tight, contracting all of your muscles, squeezing everything into your midline. Take a deep inhale here, squeeze even tighter. And then on your exhale, letting everything come down to the ground, finding your Shavasana pose. Maybe lifting the corners of your mouth, giving yourself a smile, sending some love to yourself.
And just letting everything go, relaxing through all of your muscles. Letting your breath return back to its natural rhythm. Just quieting your mind, enjoying a few moments of stillness. Begin to add some movement back into your body, being mindful with your body. And then reaching the arms overhead, reaching down through the toes for a full body stretch. And then rolling over onto your favorite side, resting your head on your arm, knees come in towards chest. Taking your time to come back into a seated position. Closing your eyes, reaching the crown of the head high. Bringing one hand to your heart, one hand to your belly. Feeling the connection between your hands and the rest of your body. Just reminding yourself to be patient with yourself. Knowing that things take time and to never rush into anything. Just allowing everything to happen naturally. Also remembering you always have strength within you. So taking this with you throughout the rest of your day. Bringing the palms of your hands together, bringing your thumb knuckles up to your forehead center. The light in me honors the light in all of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me. I hope you enjoyed, and let me know if you have any questions about headstand or any other pose, and I look forward to seeing you here again soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.